Hello, hello and welcome. I am Cedric.Bertelli, and during this program, I'm going to teach you step by step how you can regulate your own emotional difficulties the most natural way possible, nothing less. Um, you know, what I'm going to teach you during those 5 videos is not a technique, it's not a methodology. It is based on a scientific discovery. Everything is triggered in the brain and in the body to resolve the emotion felt once and for all. So when I'm saying I'm going to teach you how to resolve your emotional difficulties, when I'm saying I'm going to teach you how to regulate your disruptive emotional pattern, I mean to permanently regulate a pattern, to permanently regulate an emotional difficulty. I know it sounds crazy. However, if I decided to teach this work full time, if I decided to dedicate my life to passing on this work, it's for the simple reason that at the beginning, this work changed me. I'm not the same guy emotionally that I was. I used to be anxious, very stressed, very angry at myself, at others. This changed tremendously in my life. This program, as I said, is going to be in 5 videos. Each video is going to take you to a different step. At the end of each video, I'm going to invite you to do a little exercise, so to speak. It's not an exercise, it's just a little homework. Very simple. It's not going to take any time at all, no effort whatsoever. But it will prepare you to the next video. So it's going to be important for you to do it. During each video or after each video, you have the opportunity to email me if you have any question about what we talked about in this conversation. At the end of the 5 videos, you have an opportunity to book a 30-minute coaching session or consulting session with me, where we can talk about your results and we can also see if you had any difficulty. During this 30-minute conversation, I will also show you, teach you, so to speak, how to uncover what we're going to call the subconscious fears. Those fears that are often leading us without us even noticing them. Very well. So, while we work together, I'm going to invite you to do something which is not easy. I'm going to invite you to put whatever you know about emotion, your knowledge about emotion, and forget it for a few weeks. And just be with me. You will see that pretty simple. Huh? There is no PowerPoint, there is no diagram. No. We're just going to be together. Just be with me during those 5 weeks. Do not try to compare with what you know already. If you're trying to fill up a glass which is already full, you know the saying, it is not going to work. Just take what I will try to convey to you and see. It is working very, very well. And it is working very well for a simple reason. It is that basically your body is wired to do what I'm going to teach you. Our body as human being is wired to resolve permanently disruptive emotional pattern. We are not built, we are not made to live a lifelong with anxiety or PTSD or anger or stress. We're not meant for that. We're not built for that. All those emotions that keep on attacking us are poisonous. They weaken our immune system and they limit our cognitive abilities. If you think about it, why are we as a species always looking for a way to get better? We go into yoga, we take pills, we smoke pot, we have wine sometimes. Whatever it is, we always try to feel better, to feel more relaxed, to feel more present, or etc. etc. We are seeking constantly to feel better. Why is that? For me, it's very clear. It is because our default emotional state is to feel good, is to feel content, is to feel in relationship with what is. However, things happen to us in our life that create emotions, emotional difficulties, and remove us from this default state. What I'm going to invite you to do is to go back to this default state, and it's completely possible. You see, if you cut yourself in the kitchen, for example, and okay, you're bleeding and you clean it up, after a few days, few weeks, well, the cut is going to close up and you're not even going to think about it. You take that for granted. Our body has a natural capacity, the physiological capacity, to heal cut, to heal broken bones. We take that for granted. It's normal. However, when it comes down to emotional difficulties, when we have stress or anxiety or anger, we take for granted that we're going to have to deal with that for the rest of our life, that we're going to have to manage that for the rest of our life. It's nonsense. Our body, our mind has the same plasticity to heal emotional difficulties that it has to heal a wound. So people often tell me, so if I do this work, if I regulate my anger, I will never feel anger again. It's possible. But often you will notice that you have different kind of anger. All your angers do not feel the same. For each anger, you will have to do a new regulation. However, you don't have thousands of different angers. Maybe you have 2 or 3 different angers. After 2 or 3 regulations, yeah, you're not going to feel anger anymore. It is completely possible. Thinking otherwise is a nonsense. You're going to understand all that as we go along. But I think it's important to start by saying this, saying that what I'm going to teach you is not a technique. Do not take it as a technique. Take it as an understanding of how your brain, how your emotional functioning work. It's not something you're going to apply. It's something you're going to reclaim. To go back to the analogy of the cut, if you cut your finger and instead of letting it heal, well, you pick at the cut again and again and again, every day with a dirty fingernail. Well, your cut is going to infect. And you're never going to be able to heal. Or you see, when you have an emotion, and let's say anger, and either way you act out of it, or you bottle it down, or you try to take some deep breath to relax. When you do that, it's like if you're picking on the wound with your dirty fingernail. What we're going to do is learn how we can let the body heal, so to speak, the emotional difficulty the same way that it heals a wound. You'll see that it's extremely simple. Not easy at first, but extremely simple. So, let's get to it. How to regulate an emotional difficulty. The first step, the mandatory start to this process, is that you have to feel the emotion in you. This natural physiological capacity for emotional regulation is available to all of us from a point of emotion. So the moment to do a regulation is when you feel the emotion in you. When you feel the emotion in you, everything is triggered in your body, in your mind, to resolve this emotion once and for all. Basically, when you feel an emotion in you, imagine it as a vortex inside of you, as an open door. When you feel the emotion, everything is connected in your brain to resolve the emotion felt. So you're going to start this process when you feel the emotion in you. Let me give you an example, a personal example. One of the first regulation I did on myself was on my fear of high water. Back in the day, I couldn't swim in a place, either way in the ocean or in a swimming pool, if I couldn't touch the ground when I tried to stand up. I am 5'6", so you can imagine that it's pretty limiting in the place where I could swim, right? Okay. As I was learning this work, I was learning in the south of France. And I was swimming in the afternoon often in the Mediterranean Sea. I was always very careful to swim close enough to the shore so I can stand up and be okay. Well, as I was learning this process, I was swimming in the sea, and at some point I tried to stand up, and I couldn't stand up. I couldn't find the ground underneath my feet. So I started to panic, and I just backed off just enough to be able to find the sand underneath my feet. When I felt the sand underneath my feet, I closed my eyes and I did this process that I'm going to teach you. Since then, no problem. I can swim anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter how high it is. I go swim in caves. I swam the Alcatraz race a few years ago. I have no more problem. I do not have to control my fear. The fear is not there anymore. Now, imagine that. Imagine that instead of doing that, this one day when I was swimming in the Mediterranean Sea, instead of when I felt the panic, instead of backing off just enough to find the floor underneath my feet, instead of doing that, as I was panicking, let's say that I decided to swim back to the shore. And once on the beach, I decided to sit down and try to regulate my panic. Do you think it would have worked? And if instead of backing off just a little bit and do it, I swam back to the shore, sat down, and tried to regulate my panic, do you think it would have worked? Go ahead, think about it. I guess you found the answer, I hope. No. If I took the time to swim back to the shore and sit down to do a regulation, it will not have worked. Why? Because the emotion of fear will not be in my body anymore. I would have been way calmer. The time that I swim to the shore, the exercise, the deep breathing while swimming, sit down on the beach, the panic would have been gone. It would have been too late to regulate. Too late to regulate. That's a good one. It would have been too late to regulate. You see, you've got to do this process. You have to use your natural capacity for emotional regulation when the emotion is present in you. That's when you're gonna start. So I hear people saying, well, Cedric, it's not always easy to do a regulation, I'm sure, when you feel the emotion, because we're busy people, we are in meetings, we are among other people, etc., etc. And I'm saying to you, these are excuses. During this time together, and hopefully for the rest of your life, you're going to have to put yourself first. You're going to have to make yourself your own priority. Because you are the most important person in your life. And even if you have kids, even if you have people relying on you, you are the most important person in your life. If something wrong happened to you, something bad happened to you, a lot of people are going to suffer from it. Well, when you feel an emotional difficulty, you're weakening your body. You're making yourself sick. So when you feel an emotion, I'm going to invite you to attend to it. And yes, 90% of the time we can do it. We're not used to it, but we can do it. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you and I, we're having a meeting. And all of a sudden, in the middle of our meeting, of a work meeting, all of a sudden, let's say that your nose is starting to profusely bleed. What are you going to do? Are you going to stay in front of me and keep on talking, leaving your nose bleeding all over your mouth, your shirt, and just keep on bleeding and just talk to me like nothing was happening? I doubt it. I think that if we're having a meeting and your nose starts bleeding, you will excuse yourself, stand up, and go to the bathroom to attend to it. That's okay, right? However, if you and I, we have a meeting and you're feeling very anxious about this meeting, you're not going to attend to your anxiety. You're going to power through it. You're gonna act like you're not even anxious. You're gonna try to act like you're not anxious. So you're gonna try to contain your emotion, keep on dealing with me, and still feel the emotion in you. It's crazy. If you feel anxious, you've got to take care of yourself, because if you're anxious during a meeting, of course the other person is going to feel it. Of course you're going to lose a lot of your cognitive ability, a lot of your capacity. So that's what's going to be your homework during this first week. I'm going to ask you to do something very simple, which is within the next week, as you will feel an emotion, I am going to invite you to recognize that you're feeling an emotion. I'm not asking you to leave at this point or anything like that, but simply when you feel an emotion, stress, anxiety, anger, high or low, even a small annoyance toward your kids if you have kids, a small annoyance on the road if you're driving and somebody is doing something stupid. What I'm going to invite you to do is, as you feel an emotion, notice it. And you can even say, well, I feel annoyed right now. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Simply, when you feel an emotion, take a second to acknowledge that you're feeling an emotion. Because most of the time, we don't even acknowledge it. We just fight through it. Right? During this week, the only thing you've got to do is to notice consciously that you're feeling an emotion right here and right then. So, to recap what we learned today, which doesn't seem like much, however, it is so important. What we learned today is there's natural capacity for emotional regulation. The entrance point of every single one of your regulation is gonna be when you feel an emotion. When you feel an emotion, everything is triggered in your body and in your brain to resolve permanently this emotion. So you're gonna have to start becoming aware of your emotion, even the small one, this week. Until the next video, simply pay attention and recognize consciously when you feel an emotion. That's the first step, and it's very important. We don't care about why you feel it. We don't care if you understand why you feel it or not. That's not important. You will see that in this process, we don't care about that at all. Recognize that you feel an emotion. Take responsibility for your emotion. It doesn't matter if it's because of Joe, Paul, or Pierre, because of what happened in your childhood. It doesn't matter at this point. For now, just recognize that you feel an emotion. Take ownership for it. It's your emotion. It's your responsibility now. Whatever created it in the beginning, it's not my topic here. It's in you. It's yours. It's not your fault that the emotion is in you. No. But now it becomes your responsibility to regulate it. And you will be able to do it. Welcome again to this program. If you follow it, it will change your life emotionally. Have a great week. Do this simple exercise for a week, and I'll see you again to take you deeper into the regulation. Goodbye. Take care of yourself.